Last week, in the span of just 4 days, there were 6 deadly mass shootings here in the United States. 6 in 4 days, likely even more than that. From Wednesday to Saturday, multiple people killed by gunmen here in the United States. Here's just a few of the incidents that happened. This is courtesy of Axios reporting on this. In New Orleans, authorities in Louisiana said they're searching for an armed and dangerous 21-year-old accused of killing his parents and 3 others in 2 separate but related shootings. Then you had D.C., where Police Chief Peter Newsham said that 3 men were shot and killed in a separate incident earlier in the day. There was another homicide later in the day. St. Louis on Friday, you had a male police officer who was charged with involuntary manslaughter in the shooting death of a female officer during what was described as a deadly game with a revolver. Thursday at State College, Pennsylvania, a gunman opened fire at a hotel bar near Penn State's main campus, killing 2 men and wounding a woman. Broke into a stranger's house and fatally shot the 83-year-old homeowner and then killed himself. Also on Thursday, Rockmart, Georgia. Authorities in Georgia are on the lookout for a gunman they say killed 4 people and wounded a man in a pair of shootings. So that guy still hadn't been found either. And of course, on Wednesday, we had a man who was accused of fatally shooting 5 women at a small town bank here in Florida that he dreamed of hurting classmates in high school, and he'd long been fascinated with killing. He shot those 5 women execution style, lined them up, and shot them. 6 mass shootings that we know of in 4 days, spanning Wednesday through Saturday. So you're averaging a little more than 1 a day, which is more basically the average that we have in the United States anyway. But here's the point. How many of these did you hear about? How many of these stories did you see the corporate media pay any attention to? How many times did they bring on anyone to talk about this deadly epidemic happening in the United States, happening every single day, more than once per day? You didn't. They may have talked about that Florida shooting just because it was so gruesome and sadistic, but I guarantee you they didn't talk about the other ones. You would waste your time going back trying to search for these because they don't even exist. And that's what's so disgusting about this, is we've become so numb to it. We've become so used to it that it's not even coverage anymore. It's not even news. We don't even bother talking about it. It's just a thing that happens here in the United States, and we're supposed to just sit silently and accept it and hope that the next mass shooter isn't somebody that we're near. That's where we're at this point. We basically go through our days hoping that we're not going to be a statistic in the next mass shooting that happens here in the United States. And the sickest part is that it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. It does not. But it is, because we have politicians who are too terrified to stand up to an organization that is being illegally funded by foreign governments, and they would rather bow down to that organization, the NRA, than they would stand up for their own constituents who are being slaughtered by the dozens here in the United States today. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.